Hi, Jen. I'm so excited. You're my second repeat guest. And today we are going to speak very openly about the Mother Hunger book and what like the mother wound, if you will. And the secret club. I feel like it's a secret club, even though it's not a secret, because a lot of women struggle to articulate how it feels to have this kind of wound, especially if you have children, especially if you have a girl. I feel.
Well, like, it really came out for me after I had my kid. Like, I didn't even realize the fucked up shit the
Yes.
fucked up shit I went through growing up until I became a mom and of a daughter in particular. So yes,
Yes.
100%.
Jen and I have been friends for a really long time. She's one of my very best friends, and we've had a lot of private conversations about things that we are working through as adult women, mothers with our own mothers currently. And then also, working through past stuff. And that's one of the things that's not what immediately bonded us, but it's something that we've been able to support each other through because it's just this unspoken, it kind of gives me chills. Like it's this, I feel like how I feel, even though we didn't go through the same thing. Like we each have our own unique story, but I can say something to you, and when you make a comment to me, like I know you deeply feel what I'm saying. Like you just get it. You get how lonely it is. You get how privately painful it is. And that I'm always, I'm sad it happened in your life, but I'm also very grateful that I have somebody who understands.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Somebody recommended the Mother Hunger book. I don't even remember how I came across it. And I started reading it and I'm like, Jen, you gotta fucking read this.
It came across your Facebook news feed of like a book to read or something, wasn't
Okay.
it?
I think so. I can't
Yeah.
remember now.
It's very random.
And I'm like, Jen, you've got to read this. We should record a podcast. And so, why don't we first start by maybe sharing a little bit about what our relationships with our mothers looked like? And what do you think? Should we start there or should we start with the book? Let's start there. Okay. And really, you guys, this isn't to talk about our moms. Like, this is really just giving you a little context to understand because I think sometimes people don't understand that it's, like, really easy to blame dads for stuff, I feel like. It's really easy. It's like the narrative in society is, like, deadbeat dads. So it's really easy to be like, "Yeah, my dad, blah, blah, blah," and people are like, "Oh," and they like, it's almost like just, "Yeah, totally. That makes sense because that's typically what you see on TV or
Yeah.
whatever." However, we are starting to see more open, like, with characters who are either narcissistic moms or abusive moms or not like unnurturing moms or whatever it is. I do think that we're starting to see more of that, but I feel like people don't understand how nuanced it can be. And it's very much things that you can't always fully articulate because it's the woman who's, for the most part, I mean, obviously there's adoptive mothers, but like it's the woman you literally share DNA. Like your DNA is in each other. Like it's such a profound connection. And so, do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I don't care, but one thing, and we will probably get into this later, but it's hard to articulate because a lot of our probably deepest wounds are in our subconscious and we have no conscious recollection of them.
Yeah.
So people are like, why do you feel this way? It's like, well, maybe you have like a glimmer of a memory of something, but it's just like this. And you'll understand once you kind of hear like our stories. It's like over time, this drawn out behavior, the way you were treated, or circumstances you were in created like this deep wound inside of you that probably a lot of us, until we become moms, read. And then it really gets illuminated.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like I knew my mom made a lot of mistakes. Like there were very clear things I remembered that really hurt me in the moment. But it wasn't until I had Sammy and I was sitting there with her and I was like, she was on my lap and I was reading books with her. And I'm like, I don't have any memories of my mom reading books with me. And then I started to like search my mind. And it's like a benign example, but it's just an example. And I'm like, did we do things like this? Did we ever just spend time together? Did we ever just and never like it was always like we were just like along for the ride in their life, which many millennials have experienced that.
Yeah.
But it made me like, I was really sad because I'm like it made me look back and think, "Oh my gosh, like, there was never any presence." It was just always, "Go do your own thing, go play with your siblings, come with me to these errands." There was not this connection, and it took me a long time to realize that because my mom is not an outwardly crazy seeming person, she's not an outwardly combative person, she really seems like she has it all together, to be honest, and when you just glance at things, besides those major things that happened after my parents' divorce when I was older, you'd look back and you would think like, "Oh, she's this nice person, she's this easy to get along with person, she's this," but really she was emotionally completely turned off the whole time. And it took me having Sammy to really understand that part of why as an adult I feel so like I have to keep her at arm's distance. Like it feels so unsafe to like let her close and it feels very weird. Like and I didn't know why. Right? I'm like, is this all because of those things she did when I was a teenager? Really? Like I had a whole life with her before and I couldn't figure it out. And so that's what you're talking about. It's very nuanced things, these very like deep things that we shove down until something brings it to the surface.
Okay, so mine like literally dates back. I know now that I know kind of what I understand about childhood trauma and like how our subconscious stores memory and things like that. Like my childhood trauma started in the womb. My dad was abusive to my mom, mostly sexually. And I was actually born prematurely because of sexual abuse that occurred in the womb, right? It stimulated my mother's birth. And so it's really interesting because like my mom was the hardworking, like you have all those things that your people say, well, your mom worked so hard for you girls and all of these things, right? So I always am grateful to her for that because my dad was abusive. My dad was an alcoholic. He was very and you couldn't count on him, right? He was like he would be home and then he wouldn't be home and whatever. And my mom did work really hard for us. And I understand intellectually that that's why she was so detached, why she didn't have time to spend with me. I'm the oldest of three girls, right? I have two little sisters and all of those things, right? But it still doesn't change the emotional damage that incurred to me,
Yeah.
particularly as a kid, right? So I went no contact with my mom, or yeah, I would say like no contact, like in December of 2022. And um my daughter, that was it would have been 7 years after I had my daughter. So I had been struggling with all of these emotions and these things that brought up to me like how could my mom keep us in this environment where I was witness to so much abuse and I was her therapist. Sometimes she'd lay in bed, like Andrea said, her mom didn't read her books and stuff. My mom did oftentimes like put me to bed at night when I was little, so we'd spend time together that way. But I remember so many nights her talking to me about all the bad things my dad did to her. Like, and that's really fucked up. So imagine being like a 9-year-old and having to carry that and
Yeah.
then hearing it, right? Hearing it. And sometimes your mom calling out for you to call the police and like was very disturbing. It's very disturbing as an adult to think like I could never put my kids through that. I don't think. You know what I mean? And it's layered. I know that, but
Yeah. I'm curious. I have a question that just came up because of what you just said. Do you think that that affected any of your adult or like who you attracted into your worlds as an adult? Because you essentially got like love or connection through listening to your mom talk about her trauma and being triangulated essentially as a young child. And I'm curious if you had people like that in your life at any point in time where it was like that was the dynamic with them.
like where I was like their therapist or like it was a one-sided relationship, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I don't really know what it would 100% look like. Like, I know what I have attracted in due to my
Right. Okay, got it.
but so I'm not trying to put a specific
Uh-huh.
criteria on it, but I wonder if you've ever thought about like, wow, that makes sense why I had that kind of relationship or let that person behave that way for so long in my life, or maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know.
Well, I think, like, as I am my brain is
Totally.
twirling as you're talking, I'm a naturally very passive person, and I think that was okay, well, when you put it into that context, it's like I had to just be
Totally.
passive because I wasn't allowed to tell anybody. I was scared to tell anybody about what went on doors in our house, right?
I didn't know that you weren't allowed to tell anybody. This makes so much sense why you keep so much shit to yourself all the time. Like, I'm not trying to, I'm just like, oh, wow, that just clicked. This is why. Like, because you're somebody who keeps things very close to chest.
Yes. Well,
Even,
I don't know if it was ever like, "Don't tell anybody," but it's like an unwritten rule, like, "We don't talk about this outside of our house," sort of thing.
yes,
So
I've
I
really
never talked about it.
influenced that,
Yeah, absolutely.
which can be hard to connect with somebody who keeps things very close to chest,
Mhm.
right? It's like you have to really pull out, you have to really earn their trust, you have to really, you know what I mean? So I'm sure that that's affected intimacy in your relationships.
Absolutely.
That sucks.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. One of the things is, like, nobody wants to go around and be like, "Yeah, my mom fucked up," or "She's crazy," or "She's this," or "She's that." And for whatever reason, there's something that's not socially or culturally acceptable about saying that your mom is abusive or was XYZ or whatever. And so a lot of women walk around not saying much, and then they're dealing with either the childhood trauma or their mom currently being some kind of way, which I know is something that you deal with and I have dealt with. And it's really lonely because for some reason it's not like you just there's something about not openly talking about it. Like, does that make sense?
Mhm.
And that's where I feel like it's a secret club.
Well, it is because it's uncomfortable for people. It's uncomfortable for people who haven't experienced it. They can't understand. They
You
can't understand it. And so it
think more specifically to moms.
yes.
Okay. Why? Why do you like, I'm so curious why there's a difference between we can more openly talk about stuff that has been hurtful from our fathers, but not our mothers. Is it
I
because
think
we're
because
sacrificial or like what is it?
I think because as a society, we have this idea that moms are nurturing, they carry you, they they're the nurturers, right? In their right? In some way, shape, or form, they're going to nurture you. And
Yes.
to dismantle or diminish the nurturance that a mother provides is like blasphemy,
That's literally the word I thought of. I'm like, yeah, it's like blasphemy. Yes.
right?
Especially because on the outside, a lot of times they appear nurturing
Yes.
because we look at like, oh, they do this for you. Oh, they make this food for you. Oh, they
Your back, you got clothes on your back, you got a roof over your head. Your mom worked hard. She was basically a single mom. She worked hard. She overcame, your dad's suicide. And look at you girls. You're so successful. Da, 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 right? Meanwhile, I was 3 years old, going to the grocery store. I started babysitting at night. You know what I mean? Like
right, right.
I didn't have that nurturance, and I'm being told now at almost 40 that it's because I was always so damn independent, and that's why I didn't get nurturance.
Some wild ass shit.
To the listeners, like, just sit in that for a second. When you're trying to explain to your mom about how much she hurt you and she blames it on you,
Yeah.
being a 3-year-old kid that's running errands up and down Main Street in your small town that she has no right running.
Yeah, it's programming. This
Yes.
is the thing that when I used to be a therapist, working with families, I would very lovingly, but very clearly say, "Your child didn't get this way all on their like, just on their own. They just weren't this way. Like, this is patterning, conditioning, shaping. This is them responding to their environment, and it's been shaped for years. It can be rewired, it can be repatterned, you being so frustrated with your child about X, Y, and Z, like, you did what you thought was best, but you have to understand that certain things that you do create like a cause and effect. And whether you meant to do it or not is not the point. Like, I understand you didn't mean to do X, Y, and Z, that now your kid does X, Y, and Z, but understanding that you play a part in the patterning of the way your child thinks and feels and responds.
Yeah, and acknowledging it.
Yeah, and so it's hard. It's like, well, yeah, you were so independent because you were made independent as a very young person. And you probably realized, not consciously, but the more independent you were, the less people in your family fucking gave you a hard time. Right? It's just like stay out of trouble. It's like stay out of the crossfire, like just handle it, and then I don't even have to have a conversation with my mom about this or my dad about this or whatever.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a survival strategy.
It was 100% a well, I mean, that's what the book talks about,
But
right?
it
Like,
start with you just deciding at 3, "I'm just gonna be independent because that'll help my mom and also, like, it'll
so
be." No, you probably were asked to do something.
yeah. So I wanna mention something else because it's even more layered, and you know how because my mom and I did talk about this at one point in time. And the one thing she did say was that her parents forced her to stay with my dad,
Mm,
Catholic family, because her parents co-signed the mortgage for so we always lived my mom was a hairdresser, so we always her storefront was in the front and then we always lived like in a house in the back or whatever. And my grandparents had co-signed for her mortgage. And so they told her that she wasn't allowed so they had that leverage over her,
sucks.
and because my mom wanted to leave, right? Um, and so they held that leverage over her. So I've also had to work through that. Like all my grandparents are gone now. And
Yeah,
like obviously my whole family knew, right? It's just so entangled. Like I lived in a town of 600 people. I'm sure everybody knew the way my dad treated my mom. But nobody, and this is me getting heated now. Nobody fucking protected us, me and my sisters. And that's really hurtful,
yeah,
especially when you come from a small town. And it's something I've really had to work through, right? In this whole discussion, because this is work that I've been doing a lot lately, is creating safety within myself and create feeling safe enough to open up about stuff to my best friend,
right.
open up about stuff to my husband and connect with my husband in more healthier ways than I have in our almost 25-year relationship.
Yeah, because you had like just it made me want to cry. It's like this feeling of like nobody protected me, not just my mom, like nobody protected me. I only can protect myself. Like I have to, it's like this deep feeling of I have to protect myself. Well, even when healthy people come along, you're like, I'll protect myself, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just so, it's really so it's such a it's so sad. It's such a grieving thing. It's
Yeah.
a grieving thing. Like, when you're talking, I can, like, feel it. Like, I'm like, responding, like, in my body's responding to it, like, just feeling very heavy. Yeah. Yeah, it's a big deal, and I think that
There's
a lo
so many people suffering in silence.
there's so many people suffering in silence. It is so layered. And the other thing is that as you come into adulthood and then maybe if you have children and you start to realize even more how profound, especially if it's not as obvious, like it's not as always obvious to people. Like at first, they don't understand why they feel the way they do
Mhm.
because a lot of times emotional neglect or shaping your child to be like essentially a parent in your house, like, parentifying your child or leaving them alone a lot, like all these things. It's like on the outside, most people are like, what's the big deal? You were really helpful. What's the big deal? Like your parent had to work a lot. But you don't understand that children as they're developing, even, my daughter's 11. So even this age, like to be alone all the time with your own self and your own thoughts and like this big scary world. I remember it because that's how my life was, and the unhealthy thoughts that I would have because I had nobody to like tell me any different. Nobody to talk. Something would happen at school. Somebody make fun of me. Somebody would, like somebody be talking about something sexual or what. And I had to figure it out in my own brain. How? Like I didn't have, you know what I mean? And it's just like, it was so like lonely and kind of scary and weird and just really unhealthy because I
Well,
just, yesterday, my daughter, I pick her up from school every day that she's at my home because I share custody and my husband picks her up like 1 day a week for me to get more work done. And yesterday she came home and she told me that one of her friends is self-harming and she was very distressed. She started crying, she was so distressed. And it was like a whole thing, like, we talked through it, and she's like, we just processed it all, and she says to me, Are you tired of picking me up and hearing about my school drama every day?" Which she doesn't have school drama every day, but she felt like that in that moment. I said, "Absolutely not. I'm so grateful that I'm the first person who you get to talk to. I'm so grateful that you talk to me about these things and that I get to help you work through them."
the 9 most important minutes in your kids' days, you guys. The 3 minutes after they wake up, the 3 minutes when they get home from being away from you from extended times, and the 3 minutes before bed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, what a heavy thing. Like, she felt like she needed to save her friend, and she felt like she's like, "What is this? Like, why are all these girls my age, like, hurting themselves and doing this?" And she doesn't have we talk about how social media influences people, like, young people. So she gets it intellectually, but it was really overwhelming for her. And I'm thinking, if I didn't pick her up, how would she have processed that? How would
Yeah.
she process that? That would have gone a completely different direction. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Like she would have stewed in it until, like, let's say you had like a 9 to 5 or something, right? She would have stewed in it for a few hours and then maybe decided that she was good and didn't need to talk to you about it, or she would have had to sit in that discomfort for a long time until
Well, and she would have texted her friend a bunch of stuff, like, trying to, and this isn't to, like, make any parent who works a 9 to 5 feel bad, like,
no, no.
both Jen and
Your kids are
I
gonna tell you, like,
Yeah, and both Jen and I have worked jobs previously where we weren't around as much, or, somebody else was picking up our kids, or, she was in after school, like Sienna was in after school care before, or like I wasn't always the one to put her to bed. Like, that's not what we're saying. It's just that your presence is so powerful and it can be a positive thing or it can be something destructive for your child. That's just the fucking truth. And I think that the thing that is the unspoken thing that it's like really hard to explain is just that, like, the toxicity that was your mother, even though she was doing the best she could with who she was at the time with her circumstances, still fucked you up. It still hurts you. It still created these wounds in you. And you have to be the one to, like, detangle all of that shit. Like, and all on your own. And then sometimes even being made to feel like, "Oh my God, like, just this, why are you making such a big fucking deal about it?" Which also just makes it worse because it's so, like, gaslighty, like, as if your experience either didn't happen or it's just like, isn't that big of a deal.
things matter more than mine, right? That's another thing that I felt over the last 3 years is like her feelings are more valid than mine.
Yeah, and these things, it's hard. It's not like something that you can just say to anybody in any kinda conversation. Like, it's very nuanced.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
very
I'm not gonna like sit every person down and be like, well, this and this and this happened and that. I'm like,
Well, no, but you know what I'm saying? It's kinda
oh,
like,
exactly.
"Oh, your mom," like, it's almost like, "Oh, did you like, what'd you do with your mom for Mother's Day?" And you're kinda like, "I did nothing." And then they kinda look at you like, almost like, "What's your problem?" And you're
Hmm.
kinda like, "No, motherfucker, actually, what's her problem?" Like, why it's this weird, almost shamey.
But it's shamey.
Yes, it's like you almost feel ashamed
Yeah.
because, "But she did all these things for me, so I shouldn't feel this way."
Hmm.
Something. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
totally.
Is there anything else you wanna add just for context while we dive into the rest of this?
No, but just kind of going on feeling like something happened at think or we had I'm in Canada, so our Thanksgiving was a few weeks ago, and I was invited for the first time and since before COVID, so for the first time in 5 years to an extended family gathering, which one something in and of itself because I thought they had all shunned me. I was under the impression that they all hated me because there were just like two or two people really that talked to me from that side of the family now. Three, actually. That's why three. But I ended up chatting with one of my cousins that was there that I haven't really talked to at all, like since probably 2019. And we got talking about my mom, and I said, "Oh, like we don't talk anymore." And she goes, "Yeah, your mom's a pretty difficult person." And I was like, "Thank you, Amy!"
Yeah.
Right? So I guess like I share that for encouragement because when we make these really hard decisions to maybe um not have a relationship with that person anymore, not have a relationship with our mom anymore. And it appears that nobody is taking your side or nobody cares about your feelings through this whole thing. They just kind of label you as the troublemaker or the bad one. Maybe it's time. It's not like I reached out to all my family after it happened or over the last 3 years and was like, "Hey, so what do you think of me since this happened?" Right? I did my thing and I let life continue on. And we got very comfortable in our little family for doing our thing. But to hear that from my cousin was very validating. Obviously, she doesn't know why I'm no contact with her, like what the big situation is, but just for her to yeah, say that meant a lot to me.
Well, and here's the other thing to it. Yeah, that's amazing that that happened because it doesn't always happen, right?
Well, and especially in a family that doesn't talk about anything,
Yeah.
right?
My sister said something to me that I was kind of surprised that she said it. She's like, "Well, she wasn't a very good mom, Andrea." And I was like, "Holy shit." Like it's just my sister's different. She very like I'll say something, she'll be like, I don't think that deep, right? So that like our conversation never goes like very much deeper, but the fact that she said that to me just made me feel like, okay, I'm not this like problem child who nitpicks at everything and just is dissatisfied, like, cuz that's how you kind of are made to feel, whether it's outwardly said or not. And so for
Oh,
her,
it's been outwardly said over here.
well, for the listeners, if you get
Yeah,
this
exactly.
vibe that that's how they rationalize or justify or kind of not take responsibility, there's probably people who feel the same, but maybe they don't feel courage enough to say it, or maybe they just don't, think as deep as you or whatever it is. Like my sister just she's not a chitty chatty person. She's not a gossip. She's not and I don't even know how my mom came up. It was like on a trip with our kids and she just looked at me. She's like, "Andrea, like she wasn't that like she wasn't a very good mom." And then she said, "And she's not nurturing." And I was like, "Okay, like just it was nice to know that I'm not some asshole who just
Making stuff up.
this shit up." Like, you almost get made to feel like you're crazy, like, it's really fucked up.
You do.
And so that's part of like, we're this the point of this isn't for us to come on and just shit talk our families or our moms. It's like, we want those of you who feel like who have the same experience in some way, like, you're not alone. It's a very difficult thing to navigate because culturally, saying your mom was shitty to you is just not accepted. It's just not for some reason. And so you're not alone. You know what I mean? And it can feel very lonely at times. And especially if you're dealing with your parent continuously doing stuff, not respecting your boundaries or denying your experience or whatever it is, right? Then that's a whole other layer of now you're dealing with the past, but you're also dealing with this current scenario or whatever that you're just it's very multi-layered.
Mhm.
I mean, okay, I'll just share a little bit just for context. So, I'm not no contact with my mom, but I am I'm almost no contact with my mom. My mom's a really good grandma, which makes me
Getting progressively progressively longer.
It's interesting. I actually went no contact with my mom in my early 20s for a year. I got soup and I was so dysregulated and like just psycho back then. So I just like cut her off. Like something happened with her boyfriend at the time and I, like, lost it, and I was going through a hard time, like, I was living out in Massachusetts, I was used to living on the West Coast, I was living out there with my fiancé at the time, now ex-husband, and, like, I really wanted to feel like, I wanted to be with my family, like, I was missing people who knew me, right? Because we were out in this new place, like, we were trying to make friends, and she just off the cuff was like, "Oh, well, we're gonna blah, 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 blah," because her boyfriend decided that. And this was like a pattern. All the boyfriends, my dad, and then all the boyfriends dictated how everything was gonna go, and it was never in the favor of, like, her children. It was always very either harmful or just selfish or like we were just kind of disregarded and just needed to come along. And I was in grad school, so I was like having to use my family as a case study. So it was already bringing up like, oh, I mean, I feel bad for her because she probably was like, where the fuck did that come from? But it was just, I was like, you always do this. Like, I lost it. I was like, you always do this. You've always done this. Like, I'm so sick of this. I'm like, I don't even want to talk to you anymore. And that was it. And I didn't talk to her for like a year. And I will say that she did take that to heart, and her last boyfriend, who is now, like, kinda like my stepdad, it's my daughter's grandfather, they've been together for, like, 12 years. She definitely has boundaries with him, so I will say, I don't know what happened, I don't know if it was me, I don't know if it was like that, but she realized something about herself, so that I am thankful for. Anyway, give her some credit where credit's due, but my mom from the outside, like, seemed, like, great. Like, I can't remember her saying mean things to me. I can't remember her criticizing me. I can't remember her nitpicking me. When I went through my overweight, chunky phase in like 5th grade, she never said a word. It was never like there was not anything like that. But on the opposite end, I have a lot of memories of her just not saying anything at all. She never like my grandparents would tease me and make fun of me, and she would just like, and my siblings, and she just would like not say anything.
Yeah. And that's damaging, just as damaging, right?
Well, it's also makes you feel like when you look back, it's like you don't feel same, you don't feel protected. She would let my dad do stuff to me, like, my trauma started in the womb too, right? Like, he wanted her to get an abortion or somebody wanted to get an abortion, and so I wasn't wanted. They got pregnant accidentally at 19. She was also very young. So obviously, like, she wasn't the smartest tool in the toolbox emotionally wise, right? She was 19. Like, no 19-year-old should be having a baby. So I understand, like you said, intellectually, I understand a lot of things, but I think for her to survive my father and the things that he would do, she just shut down. She just shut down. Like, she was so disconnected, and I think about things that my dad would do, and I think about, like, and I'm like, "Where was she?" Like, I remember we'd be home, and my brother and sister and I would be, like, just watching stuff or playing in the back. We would be, like, I don't remember. It would be, like, as if she was gone for hours, and I'm like, "She wasn't gone, though. Like, where was she?" I just think that she just wasn't there. Multiple times I saved my sister's life and I saved my brother's life. When I was in 2nd grade, my brother drank a whole bottle of Triamenic, and I found him, and I found the empty bottle, and I sounded the alarm, and then I was the one to hold the towel as we were driving to the emergency room, and he's, like, throwing up in the towel, and I'm thinking my brother's gonna die, like, "Oh my god," and then I watched charcoal be put in and then my sister, when I was, like, 9 or 10, my dad had a boat, and none of the adults, so my aunt was there, my mom, and my dad. None of the adults noticed that she wasn't on the boat. And looked around and I noticed that she wasn't on the boat. And I looked over the side and she was holding on to the stairs to get into the boat. Her eyes were rolled back. Her face was just below the water. She had just been laying there. Like, my dad had to resuscitate her. And I never felt like anybody was fucking paying attention to anything. Like, somebody left the iron on and it was on the floor, and I was like 3 or 4. And I remember thinking, I don't want my brother or sister to get this. They could hurt themselves with this, but I touched the fucking iron. And I got like, I can't remember how the degree of burns, but I remember that I had to go to the emergency room, and I remember laying up at night for several nights in pain. Like my hand was in and it was wrapped. Nobody was paying attention. It always felt like I always felt like from very young that I had to like I had to be watching out because the adults weren't watching out. And when you don't feel safe, like it's not anything obvious. It's kind of like, well, yeah, I mean, sometimes parents lose their kids or sometimes shit happens. Sometimes the kid, oh, I get that from an outside perspective of like, well, sometimes that happens. I get it. Sometimes it does happen. Like I get that you can't be watching your kid every single second, but I want you to think about the oldest daughter feeling like I had this awareness that my parents weren't paying fucking attention and that something bad could happen to my siblings and they wouldn't even be there to help. I knew that already, even though I couldn't articulate it with my words.
Yeah.
And that is how I grew up from very early, and my mom always says to me, "You were just so nurturing to your brother and sister, you were like their second mother, you were just so loving to them," and I did love them, but I also had this very instinctive, like, I need to protect them.
Yeah. And
Like,
that's
what was
not
it grow
that's
up
not a responsibility that our brains and our bodies should be tolerating, like, should have,
well,
right?
and
Like, not equipped yet for that.
no, and think about how that affected my development, and think about all
Exactly.
the fucking relationships I've had where I'm trying to, like, mother my friends or mother my partners or because that's the only way I know how to feel safe. Like, I look back and I'm like, "Holy shit, man." Like, no wonder these relationships all these different relationships are like this, where I'm overgiving and protecting and and I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Like, yeah, exactly because that's and as I had my own daughter, I really looked back and like there were these nuanced things that I didn't ever acknowledge before. Like a lot of it I blamed my dad for the longest time, to be honest. Like I really because he was the obvious one. It was like he would say unkind things. He did physical harm to me. He did so it was easy to be like, yeah, most of my damagedness is from my dad or whatever. And then as I became a woman and really started to mature and work on my healing and get more grounded as a human, I'm like, "Holy fuck," but my mom was so detached,
Yeah.
and she was so permissive of so many not okay things, like, in my whole life. Like, she allowed my stepdad to abuse my brother. You know, she allowed my stepdad to belt my brother. Like, she allowed him to threaten to throw me through a wall. She allowed like, we're her children. It's not and so, when I started to realize that, it really fucked with me, obviously, because it was, like, this whole new layer of, like, "Oh my gosh," like, this is why I struggle to have women friends who I trust or healthy female friendships where I don't put myself in a position where I'm just giving and giving and giving because that's like the safest dynamic I know.
Well, it's so interesting you say that because this is something I've been reflecting on a lot lately.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, yeah, I'm busy in my life and with my family, but like, I have acquaintances
Yeah.
and you essentially. So it's like I know that this is a level of healing and I'm not there yet. Like I'm still trying to heal my marriage. Like that is my priority. You know what I mean?
Like, let's just put it on the pending list.
Exactly. It's like it's sitting there and it's like, Jen, this is something else you gotta do, right? To have like healthy female relationships, right? I just share that because what Andrea said, like there's all these levels to this human experience, especially when you're in this space of healing and wanting to break cycles and doing better for our children.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, also, I'm gonna say this because there are people who they stay stuck in, like, blaming or they stay stuck in this what I call martyrdom, right? Like, where it's like they aren't willing, like, I look at like, yes, there's a reason why I had all those relationships, and I can say, "Okay, that was the, like, birth of that, and that was the conditioning and patterning and wiring, but I'm responsible now to fucking fix this shit." Like, I can't just be like, "Well, it's because blah, blah, blah." It's like, "Okay, I know, and now it's my responsibility," like you said, you're gonna put it on the pending list. Because nobody's gonna do it for you, you know what I
No.
mean? And
Yeah.
that's part of it, is like this dance between feeling really resentful and all and trying to let that go and changing, but also having these people still in your life some way, shape, or form. Like, even though you're no contact with your mom, like, she pops up sometimes, or
She
says,
still has a relationship with my kids, just like
right,
your mom with your
that
daughter,
she'll
right? And
hear.
she texts my husband. She's in contact with him. So then he comes to me sometimes and he's pissed off about something from her. You know what I mean? So I've really had to learn to manage my emotions even when my husband comes to me annoyed with her. And I'm getting better. And that tells me that I'm healing more of that wound. Like there was a time there where I was like, you can't fucking tell me I don't want to hear it. Like you have to deal with this on your own because it just sends me into a tailspin.
Yeah,
But now I can handle and like troubleshoot with him when she's annoying him or being her, right? Cuz she frustrates both of us.
yeah,
But he's agreed to kind of wear that responsibility in being the communicator with her when they're arranging meetings with my kids and whatnot. With our kids, not my kids, our kids,
you're like, "They're my kids, but you do." No, I'm just kidding. Well, can we just take a moment and say what a protective hubby you have?
right? So grateful for him.
The other thing too is that you're doing this healing, and you're becoming this different version or iteration or more healed, whatever you wanna call it, but you still have, like, people in your life who, like, it's like you're swimming against the current sometimes, because the very things that you're healing and evolving from, they might not be there, or they might not understand. Like, I know
Um,
sisters didn't have the same experience as you, and so sometimes they don't get why you do what you do with your mom or whatever. And so it's like you still kind of feel like you're having to explain yourself, or I mean, you don't have to, but you have to get to a point where you feel okay to not have to.
yeah. Well, and here's yeah, go ahead. Okay, here's the thing that a lot that maybe you don't know, like as you're listening to this, and it's talked about in the book too about how each child has a different parent. And honestly, people that aren't in this space of self development don't understand that, right? And so I think even just opening your eyes and having awareness of that fact can be very like the sky's open and you're like, okay, it's okay that I feel this way and my siblings don't
Totally.
because okay, maybe my mom grew in maturity. We're all like 3.5 years apart, right? She grew in maturity. She learned some things. Maybe she saw how fucking independent I was and was like, oh, I actually kind of am fucking up here. So my baby sister and her have a pretty good relationship because there's 6.5 years of growth there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool for my sister. But it doesn't diminish the experience that I had of her as a mother.
Yeah.
And so, take that message away with you today, I think. If you're struggling and you're in like this back and forth situation with yourself.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. Every child has a different experience, and I think that that's important. And I wanted to share something, and I lost it. But I also think that it's okay, like, if you want to have a relationship with your parent, who and but you need to sort through things, it's okay to, like, if you don't want to go to no contact, because that's not, I mean, it's not like we're promoting that or anything, but
No.
it's like, you can take space. Like, that's what I said to my mom recently.
Well, how many times have you yeah, you've done that several times in the last few years.
So I had some revelations about the abuse from my father, and that some things about my mom that, like, I realized, like, okay, I'm pretty sure she actually knew and didn't do anything, but didn't go to the authorities, didn't whatever. And I can't ask her. I could, but that will be a very disappointing conversation, because her whole thing for the most part is I don't remember. Everything's I don't remember. That was so long ago, Andrea. I don't remember. And so I think if I even brought, first of all, it would hurt her. And I'm not trying to hurt anybody. Like if I brought this up, the things that I'm remembering now and asking her questions like about, certain things that I remember right before they got divorced, she wouldn't even be able to handle it.
Yeah, she's too delicate.
Yeah, and also she probably would then, whether she remembered or not, it would be, "I don't remember," which
Yeah,
would make me leave the conversation so freaking pissed off and invalidated and frustrated, and or even worse, "He would never do that to you," or "I was always with you," whatever, right? So, I don't need to have that kind of conversation. All it will do is upset everybody.
yeah.
So, go ahead.
No, you finish your thoughts, and then I wanna just
So
add.
I'm sitting alone with this, right? Like you know about it, my husband knows about it, like people close people to me know about it, but it's like it's very weird. I haven't said anything to my siblings. I haven't said any like and I'm not going to. Not because it's a secret, but it's kind of like why? Why cause that distress for everybody? And so that's a really weird place to be honest. It feels heavy, it feels lonely, it feels just weird. And I wrote her an email and I just said, "Look, like I'm not cutting you off. I would never take Sammy away from because she's a really good grandma." I'm like, "But I need some space." And I don't really know what else to say other than I need some space, like to figure this out. And I don't know what the future is going to look like, but I'm not angry. I'm not sending this to you to like hurt you. I just need you to know that like I'm not going to be texting you all the time. And like I'm trying to figure some stuff out. I have some new memories that came up and there's some really upsetting things. And I have a lot of questions. And I don't think that it would be a constructive conversation for us. And so I just need to figure this out. And that, she respected that, which I'm thankful. I know your mom has not always respected your boundaries with those types of things. I am thankful. One of the, I guess, upsides of my mom being such a detached person is if you put a boundary in place, her coping is to detach from it. So at least, like, you know what I mean? Like, she's not popping up, although she did pop up the other day
Yes.
visiting my daughter through my ex-husband, which is fine, but she just didn't tell me she was coming, which really upset me. And that's a new behavior that she has not done before.
That
But
was a shocking behavior for
it
sure.
wasn't shocking because that's not her MO usually, but she didn't try to, like, talk to me a bunch. She didn't try like, she left me alone, you know what I mean, at the game or whatever, so that was good. But it feels lonely. I'm gonna be honest, this is be really vulnerable right now because 'cause I've done a lot of healing, but do you know that there's still this little part of me, this, like, little girl inside who's like, "Why hasn't she fought for me? Why hasn't she been like, 'I can handle it, tell me, what is it?' Like, if I can answer your questions, I will, like, I don't want us to not have a relationship." And
Yeah,
she's not gonna do that because that's the epitome of my mother is she just if you don't talk about it, it's not there. She did it so many times, like, she caught me driving drunk when I was, like, 17 with my friends. I was, like, driving them home. We were drinking at my house, and then I was driving them home, and my mom came home from work early, and so she passed me, like, opposite, and she, like, honked and, like, was like, "Pull over." And so I was like, "Holy shit, I'm gonna get in so much trouble, like, she's gonna know I'm drunk." First of all, let me tell you what my mom did. She's like, "Are you drunk?" And I'm like, "No, mom," like, whatever. And so do you know what she told me to do? Instead of her putting my friends in her car, she goes, "Drive your friends home and come straight back." She let me drive drunk. She knew I was drunk.
yeah. I mean, Andrea, I've never told you the amount of times. Every weekend we were drinking and driving, but that was rural Canada.
My mom literally pulled me over because she
Yes,
knew that something was up
and then just let you
and
continue.
then let me go. What if I crashed?
It showcases who she is, like how she responds to that sort of situation.
Yeah, like one time she came home and I'd been drinking tequila. It was a year of me just like obliterating myself, you guys, like numbing out. And she gives me a hug and then she goes, have you been drinking tequila?" And I was like, "No, mom." And she's like, "Okay," and walked away. Like, it didn't matter what I did to try to get her attention. Like, I literally could have been rolling up a fucking joint in front of her or
Okay.
something, and
Yeah.
she would pretended she didn't see it. And all I wanted was for her to show me she cared. Like, I told her I lost my virginity when I was 14. and she sat on the bed. And of course, I shocked her. I mean, I put my mom through a lot too. I really acknowledge that. But she was in shock. I could tell. She just sat there and she just stared off into space. I'm like waiting for her to have a reaction, like, Andrea, you're so young, or like whatever, just something. And she's like, okay. She got up, left the room, left me there after I tell her something so profound. And then, like, a week later, she driving me to an appointment that I don't even know what it is. And it's the gynecologist. And I get like a thing, a PAP and then birth control.
Yeah.
There
I
was
got my
no,
birth control on my own. My mom said to me, because my husband and I started dating when I was 15, and so she obviously knew when we started having sex, I guess. I don't know, like, I didn't even tell her when I got my period, you guys. Like, this is how I was raised. Like, I didn't tell her anything. And she broke my trust a lot. I've had people tell me that she used to read my journals and things like that, right? So it's very deep. But I never told her when I was having, like, when we started having sex. But I do remember her saying once, you better go on birth control. So my husband, I think, drove me into the city where I went to my doctor because he's 3 years older than me. So he had his license and I went and got birth control for myself. Like, this is the level of independence that I had. But I wanted to go back, and I can't remember what exactly you said. Oh, about, her response to your email and whatever. And my mom is almost like, in her dissociation, my mom wanted me to tell her everything I remember.
yeah, like our moms are opposite, but same wounds.
So for years, me and my husband and my sister and her husband have all been saying, like, let's go to family therapy. And she refuses. So this is like one of the things, is like, my mom's not willing to heal for me, right? Or to do this for me. So it's just another layer. But then she turns around and wants me to tell her everything that I remember about my childhood. And I'm like, first of all, you're not strong enough for me to tell you everything I remember. Second of all, I'm not just telling that between you and I. Like, we need a third party in that room. Like, there needs to be somebody, because, like, that just doesn't seem like a smart idea to me. You know what I mean?
Can we talk about how we both feel like our moms aren't strong enough to hear what we really went through, but they are the ones who allowed it or put us through it? Like, that's the fucking essence. Like, that right there. We could end right. That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that I am more concerned with my mom being completely just like undone by me telling her I know that she knew I was abused, and instead of going to the authorities, she divorced him, and then, like, 6 months later made me go to his house again. Like, that would wreck her. She would come undone. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one protecting her from something she did to
Yeah.
me, right? And it's the same, and it's like, this is the mother wound. It's like, it doesn't matter. I mean, it matters. And I don't mean to say nothing. It doesn't matter. But it's like, your mom could be very outwardly, your mom could be like your mom and very pursuey for her own validation. Or it could be like my mom and completely like emotional neglect and detachment, right? Your mom could hit you. Like, but the point is that when you grow up fragilizing your mother without even knowing it, or you grow up thinking it's just safer to not say anything because somebody's going to get upset, or I'm going to have to end up having to soothe my parent, or I'm going to get punished for saying something. Then you grow up to be this person who's like armored and like doesn't let people in fully. And
Yeah.
these ways that you control, the truth is, control the relationship with, like, I know how to make people feel safe to me by being transparent, and they think it's vulnerability. And I don't do this anymore, BTW, if you're my friend listening in. But I realized that about myself. Did I really tell you about that? I don't even remember. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're not even really being vulnerable. You're being transparent. And these people think they're close to you, but you still keep them at a certain distance. I'm like, Andrea, like, come on. Like, what the fuck is your problem? So it's like these things that you have to deal with, like, for the rest of your life, that you're undoing little, but you're failing your marriage, then you got your pending list, right? Like, I'm working my way into, having more healthy female relationships. And it's just, and the whole while they don't take part in that process. And then they don't understand, like, why you're distant, or why, like, I know my mom before I did this, like, taking a break thing, she would, like, try to hug me or give me affection, and it made me feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I was the same.
And it was weird because I was like, "Gosh, I wish that, like, I felt good to have this, like, this is what I wanted as a little girl." But because I didn't get it, this feels fucking weird and awkward, and I wanted to be like, "Bitch, why the fuck are you even doing that right now? Like, this is so fake." Like, what? But I know for her it's not fake.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, why now? Like, why didn't you do that when I fucking needed it? Why are you doing it now? Like, now it feels so unnatural. I feel uncomfortable and I'm armoring myself to accept a hug from you. And this is that part where people just don't understand. This is what you're dealing with when the person who was supposed to be your like lifeline and your nurturance. It's a very different role than a father. Like the book talks about it a lot and I'm so grateful because fathers are so important too, but it's very different what you get from a mother and your development and a maternal figure and that kind of nurturing. It's very unique. You can't replace it. There's just nothing like it. Just like there's the fathers, very specific with the father. But when you don't have that, it's like your brain doesn't even properly develop. Your brain doesn't even properly develop. Like, it comes from
This is fun.
her. It comes from, like, the touching and the attachment and you don't properly yes, your nervous system, but even, like, brain development partially is from that. And so it's just different. It's a different kind of wound, I feel like. It's a different kind of wound. And then when you are a mother and you're like doing things differently and you like look at your kid and you're like, "Holy shit." Like to me this is like just yeah, duh. Like when my daughter's like, "Thank you." Like, she'll say thank you to me and stuff and she's got a lot of gratitude and she'll be like, "Thank you for talking about this with me," or "Thank you for being my safe person." And I'm just like, "Yeah, it would never be any other fucking way." And I think, but wow, but it is for so many girls.
Well, it was for us.
Yeah, and it's just really sad and it's really hard and it's this like silent ache. It's a silent ache. And then every stage of development that your daughter goes through, there's this new I wouldn't say it's a trick like for me it's not triggering or anything. I'm not like getting triggered but I'm just like grieving. I grieve every new phase that she goes through. I grieve what what I didn't have. And it like, it highlights it for me, or it brings stuff up that I didn't even realize was a thing. I don't have my memories about going through puberty, like, I don't have any, and there's probably a reason for that. Like, when we don't remember things, there's a reason. And so, I try to, draw from that, I'm like, I have nothing to draw from. So that tells me something, right?
Yeah, like yeah, exactly.
Well, and I asked my mom because this was, like, a benign thing to ask her, like, it wouldn't have triggered her or anything, or so I was like, "So, like, did you take me bra shopping? Like, did you help me with it?" And she's like, "I don't remember." So I'm just like, I don't there's not like
That's just her answer. It's like famous last words.
it is her answer. It keeps her out of the fire, you know?
My mom my mom says that a lot. It's like, "I don't remember." Yeah. I
And
don't remember a lot either.
maybe she doesn't, right? But I'm kinda like, "How do you not remember?"
Trauma.
Yeah,
There's a lot I don't remember too.
yeah,
Things that are coming back up, or I'll ask my husband because he's known me for so long, but, I mean, there's a lot that I do remember, but I'm certain there's a lot that I don't remember, good and bad, right? Like, good and bad things.
yeah.
So
So for me, the book was really helpful. There were a lot of things in the book that it wasn't like my circumstance, but it understood the wounding piece of it. It helped me understand more and more like just the uniqueness of this particular wound and how it affected me, even if my mom never physically abused me. And like I said, her stuff wasn't the obvious stuff. It wasn't like she didn't tear me down verbally, she didn't shame me, She didn't physically abuse me. And so I had to kind of take what my experience was and put it within like, like in place of those
Context.
examples in context. Yeah. And they do talk about mothers who are emotionally unavailable or who are, as well. But my mom wasn't the obvious emotionally unavailable. It was like in these private moments that were so important for me that she would just freeze and then just like we would never talk about it again. And the message I got a lot was you're not worth fighting for. You're not worth protecting. You're not worth like people who go the distance in their like it was just like it was always met with silence or passivity. And so it just felt like people don't fight for me. Like that's something I've had to really continue and I still continue is like people don't fight for you, Andrea. You fight for people, they don't fight for you. Like that's just how it works in your life. And
Yeah,
it's
and
like
mine is
go ahead.
mine is independence.
Mhm.
Always laid my stake in the ground of being a hard worker, and I mean, I say independence, but then I think about it, I'm like, well, I've been with my husband my whole adult life, so I never really had like true independence where I like lived on my own or whatever, but I really like make my own decisions or previously have, and I would never loop him in. Oftentimes I would do it and then tell him after. And so that's part of my wounding, and that's what I've carried and lots of the layers that I've had to shed. It was like I just need to figure it out on my own. And like I just got me. I
Mhm.
just got me. I'm gonna take care of me. Right. Like that's why I became a nurse, was because if something ever happened, I wanted to make sure that I could take care of me and my kids, right? So that's what I've carried that's my armor.
Yeah, and that's hard in your marriage when you don't loop your husband in. Or you just you
Or
don't
you
let
don't ask you for help when you need it and you're just like so you're not you can't receive what he has to offer.
yeah. Yeah, and so it's understanding these things and I feel like this episode's so depressing. But I think it's really important for people to especially women who maybe have mothers who they've had these different types of experiences with. Number 1, I just want to say that you're not alone and there is a secret club and like there's a lot of women who have this experience. And there's also women whose mothers were jealous of them, whose mothers would compete with them, who I mean, there's so many different so you're not alone. And also you can like heal and grow beyond this. Like, I mean, I feel like you and I are like completely different people than when we first met.
My gosh. Like a lot has happened. What, like 6 years, right? We've known each other, we've been friends, like a lot.
No, I feel like longer. Well, yeah, like 6 or 7 years. But I just think like, I look back on myself, I look back even on stuff you and I have worked through together, right? And where we've played out our patterns on each other, and thank God we're, like, trauma informed, and so we, like, have stuck with each other, like, honestly. But I just think it's really important to know that you can recognize your own stuff, and then you can, change it. You can heal these things. Like, you'll never stop grieving. Grief is such an ever-going thing, like, an ongoing thing, and it comes in waves. This is something that I really realized after divorce because a lot of things that happen in our life, like, it's not like you just grieve and then you're past it. What happens is you grieve and then you're good for a while, and then something else brings that up or brings a different part of how it affects your life or your whatever up, right? And so grief is one of those things that comes and goes, and that's never going to go away. It's learning how to like cope with the grief better, how to actually feel it, how to acknowledge your experience. And then also looking at the areas of your life where this is affecting you. And so for me, like, I've had a major overhaul in relationships. Like, there's only a couple man standing and Jen's one of them. Like, only a few good men standing, and some of it was just by me changing and some of it was me actually saying like this, I love you, but this doesn't work. Like, we're not moving forward with this relationship. And it's been really painful, but it's like I have collected a lot of people who I'm the pursuer, they're the distancer, just like my mom, right? Or I'm the overgiver and they're the undergiver, right? Or type of thing, or they're emotionally unavailable, or, they're everything's great until I actually say how I feel and then it's not great anymore or whatever. Like a lot of those dynamics. And I collected a lot of friendships like that. And I look back at my romantic relationship and I had some romantic relationships like that. And I'm making a really strong commitment to change that. Like, I don't need to be a martyr. I don't need to continue to collect those people and then feel like, why does nobody protect me? Why does nobody have my back? Why does nobody that doesn't need to keep playing out in my life, you know? And so I just want to encourage you, like, there's hope. You can make changes and you don't have to go no contact to make those changes. But if that's something like you can take a break, you can not
That's
go to the
that's
holiday.
literally what I was gonna say, like, you guys, I there's still a piece of me that is hopeful that one day I will feel safe enough to have some sort of relationship with my mom, and I've tested it out here and there a little bit, like, going with my husband to pick up my kids when they go there for the week. Like there's little ways, but I'm not ready yet. And so that's what I wanted. That is one thing that I wanted to say too is like it might just be for like a short period of time where you're like, I just need space to figure this shit out and to like yeah. And then there could be a time where you're like, okay, I've worked through this, I've processed it, and I'm good with what happened. And I want you to be in my life again, right? It doesn't need to be forever.
As you have honestly, for the most part, most people, unless I mean, you wouldn't be listening to this podcast if your mom took responsibility and said sorry and went to therapy with you. It's like this is I mean, not that you don't have a mother wound, but it's like this wound has multiple impacts because it's like the thing that happened and then when it's denied or it's avoided or whatever, then there's this other layer of wound because now you're just left to figure it out all like I'm figuring it out about that whole thing I discovered, right? And she was involved, but she was a part of the trauma. And so it's just, and it's the same for you. It's like, it's not just getting good with what happened, it's getting good with who they still are.
Yes.
Cause my mom is still, she's come a long way, but she's still she still behaves that same way in different ways. And either I have to be good with it or not be like involved. I can't expect her to change. That's who she chooses to be. And that's part of it, right? And so it's like it's okay to not go to the family holiday. It's okay to whatever. You know what I mean? It's okay to not explain yourself to people who are on the periphery who are like, "Why aren't you talking to your mom? Why aren't you at Christmas? Why aren't you" whatever it is, right?
Mhm.
It's okay to say, "I'm just working through some things," or whatever, and I don't really wanna talk about it. And I think knowing that there's other people who are bringing this to light, I mean, for me, that's healing in itself, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah. It's a lonely place to be.
It is lonely. It's such a weird thing that we don't really talk about a lot. I do feel like though there's more people talking about it
Yeah.
online, and I'm so grateful for those people who are, like, really openly talking about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Do you have anything else that you think would be helpful for anybody listening to hear?
I don't think so. Not right now.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, is make sure you surround yourself with people who support you. So, like, even if they don't also have a mother wound or whatever, like, people who want to know you, who people who want to be a supportive friend, like people who want to really roll up their sleeves and really do life with you. Like I have people like that. And then I have people who I can like, just go out and to brunch with and we don't really talk about that kind of stuff. We keep it super light and airy and giggly and whatever. And then you also have friends who can do both. Like
Yeah.
well, if you don't have friends like that who are willing to roll up their sleeves and truly do life with you, like help you work through certain things sometimes and you help that and like really know each other on a raw level, like that's a great first step because there will be so much healing just through doing that. Yeah,
Yeah. We all need at least one good girlfriend.
totally. Okay, and then get the Mother Hunger book and just be
Like, am I allowed to show it? I have it right here. This
why
is what it
what do you
looks like.
allow? Oh, like
Yeah.
we get in trouble for showing
I
it or
don't
something?
know.
I
I
don't
don't
know either. I did mine on Audible and I would listen on walks, and so it was really cathartic for me because I would, like, cry on my walks. Not that not everybody's gonna cry or whatever. Did you cry? Okay. So maybe you're gonna cry,
Yeah.
you
I
know?
did a little bit, not like not every chapter or anything.
No, like, there were just a couple chapters that I definitely did a little bit of crying, but it was, like, good. Like, it felt like, "Oh my gosh,
Release.
somebody's actually doing research and helping women heal from this. Yes, like, thank
Yeah.
you." And just kinda like, "Oh, I feel so seen and understood." And also, it's really helpful to have things named that you are feeling or you like, that you can't quite name. You
Yes.
can't always name things, and so when you hear somebody else naming it, it's so helpful for you to understand yourself and to know that you're not crazy or that you're not whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah, so get the book, Mother Hunger. Oh my gosh, we didn't even talk about okay, hold on. One other thing is mother hunger and our relationship with food.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's like a whole other episode.
Okay, maybe we'll do another episode because some fucking light bulbs went off for me. I'm like, "Holy shit, some of my eating patterns make so much
Yeah.
make so
Same.
much sense now."
Yep.
So
Well, not only that, but like I grew up around some very unhealthy eating behaviors and like diet behaviors and things like that too. So there's that. And then plus this and yeah.
yeah, so I mean, that's the other thing. If you struggle with food and in some way, shape, or form, and you also had some sort of version of like a strained relationship with your mom or not a healthy one, this book's really good. And they reference a couple other books in there that are very specific to speaking about like our diet, how we eat,
Our
right?
eating.
Our eating rhythms, our eating habits, and the mother wound, like the like truly like hunger, right? Like how this emotional hunger turns into this also like physical manifestation with food and food feeling like love. And you know what's interesting when I went to see, Dr. Roberts, one of the clearings around food was food is love. Money is love. Like shopping for like buying my things is how I show myself love. And like eating certain craving foods is like how I show myself love. Well, I mean, we're reprogramming that right now, people.
Yeah.
But that and I was like, "Well, that makes a lot of sense."
And one of the things that I really liked about not every chapter, you guys, but there's several chapters where she asks you questions to help you kind of put these puzzle pieces together. Like there's some reflective prompts in there too. Like I said, not every chapter, just a few. And so that was really useful. Like one of them was about food, another one was about other relationships that you're in right now. So yeah, it was a really well done book.
It's so well done.
With the subtitle, How Adult Daughters Can Understand and Heal from Lost Nurturance, Protection, and Guidance. Like, as soon as I read that, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm reading this.
I'm so glad that we did this episode. So I will link the book, just an Amazon link. Like, no, there's no affiliate to it or anything. I'll just link it in there in the show notes for you to easily grab it and reach out. Let us know what landed with you. And we'd love to give you some encouragement. And I'm so grateful that you were willing to do this episode with me, Jen. I love you so much.
I love you too. I hope it was useful to all of you that listened. Let
Yeah,
us know. Let
I
us know
am.
like, what your aha was or whatever you want to share. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everybody. We'll see you in the next episode.